Hello again, my name is Aislinn Elbrook. For Article Review 2, I chose a topic titled Recent Injury and Health-Related Quality of Life in Adolescent Athletes. I chose this topic because I was an athlete growing up. I've been playing sports for nearly 14 years now as I continue to do intramural soccer in college. So, with that being said, I've had my fair share of minor to major injuries, so I wanted to see the evidence as to why I was feeling certain things during my injuries. So I'm going to give you guys a brief overview of the study. There was a cross-sectional study being performed on 160 uninjured adolescent athletes. 83 of them were female, 77 being male, as well as 45 injured adolescent athletes, 25 being female and 20 being male. These participants were recruited from 8 different local high schools by their athletic trainers and their coaches. The measures and questionnaires were being performed in each corresponding high school, whether it be in their high school classroom or their athletic training facility. So what was asked of the participants was to complete 2 self-administered health status questionnaires, titled Short Form 36 Health Status Questionnaire and the Pediatric Outcomes Data Collection Instrument. So both of these measures were to measure the overall health-related quality of life, to see if there was any aspects being not only affected on the physical level, but the psychological and social level as well. So the main objective of this study was to see if injuries did have an effect and impact on the overall quality of life, to see if, like I said, there was not only physical disruptions, but psychological and social disruptions as well. So what the researchers had found was that when there was self-reported injuries, the overall health-related quality of life was lower in the self-reported injured adolescent athletes compared to the uninjured adolescent athletes, which means that injuries do have a significant impact, being that the sample size for injured athletes was significantly lower than that of the uninjured. So they had found that the short form measure had lower scores in the subscale of physical functioning, as an example, and in the pediatric measure, they had a lower score in the pain and comfort subscale. Just being that there was a wide variety of subscales in both measures, and that at the end of the study, the injured adolescent athletes had scored significantly lower than that of the uninjured adolescent athletes. So, as an overall result, the injured adolescent athletes had a lower health-related quality of life than that of the uninjured adolescent athletes, which really does stand out because, like I said, this does mean that injuries do have a significant impact on how adolescents go throughout their life. It could affect their physical functioning. Obviously, for example, someone breaks their ankle, they're not going to be able to walk easily. But with that being said, their psychological and social aspects can be affected, being that maybe they can't go out during the weekends with their friends and so on. So I believe that this topic is very important because finding evidence and preventative measures to decrease injuries, especially in adolescent athletes, I believe is very important, especially just educating adolescents on the importance that being precautious during physical activity is crucial. So I believe that there should have been 2 more variables added to this study. I'm just going to give you a brief anecdote to prove my point. When I was a freshman in high school, I fractured my right ankle during the latter part of the season of soccer. So although I was completely discouraged during the time, I realized that I have to be more optimistic because I have 3.5 more years to prove myself. And although it was a major injury, I still took it as a more positive, all right, don't freak out, we're going to have much more time to prove ourselves. So with that being said, I believe that the 2 other variables that should have been taken into consideration are the severity of the injury and the age/grade it occurred in. So if, for example, a student was injured in their junior or senior year and colleges were recruiting them and that affected their scholarship, for example, that could have a much more significant impact on the student than that of a 10-year-old who broke their finger during basketball and couldn't perform in the championship game. I know those are two very different examples, but the point is that the severity and age at which it happens, I believe, do have a playing factor in the fact if they do have an impact on the health-related quality of life. With that being said, I think it's just very good to know that it isn't only physical barriers that affect adolescents when they get injured. It does take a toll on the psychological and social factors as well. So if we can find ways to prevent and educate coaches, athletic trainers, and parents and adolescents on the importance that injuries do need to be prevented, I think there would be a significant decrease. Not so significant, but a slight decrease in injuries because we have the knowledge and we have the background that injuries do affect the overall health-related quality of life. That being said, thank you for watching this. Thank you.